The year is 1967, and this Ford Galaxie 500 XL could be had at your local Ford dealer. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that features cool cars that are not often talked about, often overlooked. History, specs, design. It's like seeing these cars for the very first time. Engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. If that sounds of interest, the channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Spring is finally here, and it's been hotter than hell here in Western Pennsylvania. If you have a cool car in your personal collection that you would like to see featured in mini documentary format on this channel, drop me a line at what_it's_like at a lost and mostly forgotten webprovider.com if interested. 1967 Ford model lineup. These aren't in any particular order: Falcon, Mustang, Thunderbird, Bronco, Ranchero. They had a truck line going from the half-ton all the way up to the big commercial GT40 race car. The full-size cars were the LTD, Galaxie Custom, and Fairlane. Ford would offer the Galaxie from 1959 through 1974 in 4 generations. 1967 falls in the 3rd generation, which had a production run from 1965 through 1968. Could be had as a 4-door sedan, 4-door hardtop, 2-door convertible, and 2-door hardtop. All new for 1967 was the dual hydraulic brake master cylinder. The body was also stiffer than previous years thanks to a stamped-in box section framing around the side rails, double panel rockers, improved torque boxes, and a new rear crossmember was added near the rear axle. The suspension was also rebushed, which helped with noise reduction. Galaxie was offered in trim levels like XL and LTD prior to 67, but in 1967, the LTD and XL were separated from the Galaxie 500 series. All 1967 Fords featured a large padded hub in the center of the steering wheel, along with energy-absorbing steering wheel column, which came late in 67. Recessed controls. The 1967 Ford XL came standard with a 289 V8, leather smooth, all vinyl, Thunderbird bucket seats, command console with T-bar shifter, select shift, cruise-o-matic automatic transmission. The 7-liter motor was an optional package on the XL, and what that came with was a 428 cubic inch displacement V8, power front disc brakes, and tuned suspension. Let's talk specs. 213 inches long, 79 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 119 inches. It weighs 3,525 pounds. Price, $2,860, which is equivalent to you spending $26,848.72 in the year 2024. Total 1967 Ford production was 1,730,224 units. Of that number, Galaxie was 426,941 units, and of that number, XL Fastback Coupe was 18,174 units. Moving on to engines, which there was a plethora of different engines available for the Galaxie. We're only going to talk about the engines that you could get in the Ford XL. Starting off in the proverbial basement, 289 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8, 4.7 liters. It's good for 200 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 282 pound-feet, or 382 newton meters around 2,400 RPM with a bore of 4 inches and a stroke of 2.9 inches. Compression is 9.3 to 1, 5 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed automatic cruise-o-matic transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 11.4 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 110 miles per hour while achieving an average 12 to 15 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the first optional engine, 390 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8, 6.4 liters. It was available in a couple different versions, making horsepower ratings from 275, conflicting information on top horsepower figure, 335 horsepower at 4,800 RPM, up to 427 pound-feet or 579 newton meters around 2,400 RPM with a bore of 4.1 inches and a stroke of 3.8 inches. 5 main bearings when backed with a 3-speed automatic cruise-o-matic transmission. 0 to 60 could be had in about 7.5 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 130 miles per hour while achieving an average 10.8 miles to the gallon. Up next, the 7-liter package engine, 428 cubic inch displacement overhead valve, V8, 7 liters. It's good for 345 horsepower, 4,600 RPM. 462 pound-feet or 626 newton meters at 2400 RPM with a bore of 4.1 inches and a stroke of 4 inches. Compression is 10.5 to 1. 5 main bearings when backed with a 4-speed manual transmission. 0 to 60 could be had in 6.9 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 130 miles per hour while achieving an average 6 to 10 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine on offer for 67, 427 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 7 liters. It's good for anywhere between 410 to 425 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, up to 480 pound-feet or 651 newton meters at 4,000 RPM with a bore of 4.2 inches and a stroke of 3.8 inches. 5 main bearings when backed with a 4-speed manual transmission. 0 to 60 could be had in 5.8 seconds with a theoretical conservative 140 miles per hour top speed while achieving an average, if you're lucky, between 5 and 8 miles to the gallon. These are all just jumping off points. Mileage may literally vary and bore and stroke sizes may be rounded. If you're in the market for a 1967 Ford Galaxie XL, I know where there's a place that has one for sale. Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they have this car and 895 other cars for sale when recording this episode. And get this, anybody could go there and peruse their inventory. You could go peruse their inventory in person or online for hours of operation, directions, and to see more pictures of this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk styling. Notice the XL badge here with the Ford logo next to it. Also, I absolutely love how Ford stacked the headlights. Very cool. So I've never noticed that before. Just take a look at this grille, how it's designed. Bumpers, which turn signal indicators are down here. The hood bevels down slightly as it comes to a point here, and then it kind of V's off. There is a center line in the hood going back towards the curved windshield, but not just that line. It's also raised ever so slight. Textures here in the stainless. It is flared. Check out this belt line crease as it goes down the side of the car. This car doesn't have rocker molding. It has molding that rides just above. Beautiful 390 badge there. This car has an external cowl with windshield wipers that follow. Stainless steel trim around the windshield. This car also has drip rails which start right here and run the length of the cabin. Side mirrors are mounted of the vent window. Has door guards, as well as there's a better look at this line. Just look at how this roof is designed. Big back glass. The trunk section also goes down at an angle, ever so slight. gas fillers on the driver's side. Ever so slightly flared but capped with the stainless steel trim. And the textured piece carries on in the back. The brake lights aren't straight. Notice the backup lights are in the center, which is really cool. Back bumpers are totally different than the front bumpers. This door has a lot of heft to it. The door panel itself feels like it's made of a vinyl material with this bright bar to separate the textured panel from the straight panel. It's all the same material. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. This is the door handle to get out. Notice it flips up like this and then you push up on it. XL badging. Window crank for the big window, which operates like this. Notice it's all framed out. This one has a joystick style mirror to control the mirror where you would like to put it. And this one also has the crank out vent windows, which operate like that. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have the emergency brake and or parking brake, as well as parking brake release, high beam indicator switch, brake pedal, gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior. Also notice where the seat belts come out of. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Windshield wipers, headlights, air vent, left turn signal indicator, speedometer, which goes up to 120 miles an hour. The car might go faster, but the only traceable speed that this car can trace is up to 120 miles an hour. Odometer, right turn signal indicator, gasoline gauge, oil pressure, which is an idiot light, as well as coolant temperature and amp meter, all lights. Clock, AM, FM radio, lighter, ignition, right air vent, lights for seatbelt and door ajar, climate controls, heat and ventilation, temperature at the top, heat defrost slider on the bottom, 2-speed fan. Underneath the steering wheel, there's adequate space to put my hand in between my crotch and the bottom of the steering wheel. Steering wheel will spin freely. So if you wear size 36 pants and you're about the same size as me, you'll fit in this car beautifully. There's no way to adjust it. This one doesn't have tilt wheel. I'm sure it was an option in 67. Up above, there are sun visors. They have the rear view mirror cut out, so you can put both sun visors down and it not interfere with the rear view mirror that has a daytime, nighttime feature. The glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. It fits in the hole, but the door won't shut. So it does not pass the glove box test. Ashtray is right there. There's another ashtray up there. Seatbelt holder. The seatbelts are designed like this. They look like airplane seatbelts. As well as you have storage inside the... Getting in the rear, just fold the seat forward like that. And that is how much space you have to get back there. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse or the pillar to glass ratio. It's pretty nice in this car. It looks dark only because it has black interior. The rear from the back seat, that is what the visibility looks like. There's a nice big parcel shelf there. Creature comforts. You have lights on the post, as well as armrest with ashtray. The windows do go down back here. Coat hook. Everything found on the passenger side is also found on the driver's side. There's a coat hook, armrest, ashtray, windows, and they go down like this. My knee situation, I could put my fingers in between my knee and the back of the seat. The seat back profile is rather upright and it does dip down in the back, but it's not terrible. There is no center armrest. There looks to be a light at the back of the console though, so you could see. Coming to the under the hood section, the hood release is right here in the center. And it's all one motion. That's the hood release. This one has a power steering pump, dual horns. Both the horns are right there. Distributors in the front with the coil. Beautiful 390 Ford V8. It's got a dual master cylinder but no power brakes. Alternator, 12-volt battery system with solenoid. This one's a 2-belt system. One belt drives the alternator and fan. The other belt just drives the power steering pump. On the positive side, build quality, performance. There were tons of different engine options to choose from. These cars have really nice lines, especially when you take a moment to just take it all in and just look around the car. It is definitely a rewarding experience to do so. Great space in the rear. This would be a great car for a family. Against it, these can be thirsty depending on what engine you choose. Some body parts are getting hard to find, as well as finding this in a convertible flavor. Convertibles are getting hard to find. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. These may or may not be in the same exact range, but which one would you rather have? 1967 Chevy Chevelle or 1967 Ford Galaxie XL or 1967 Plymouth Belvedere. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1967 Dodge Charger or 1967 Ford XL or 1967 Mercury Monterey. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section, I'm gonna pin their comment to the top. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted, and I don't say that for self-worth. I just say that if you post a comment on here, I will definitely read it. Most of the time, I respond to all the comments too. It's not a computer, it's not AI, it's not my wife, it's me. So if you want to talk to me, just shoot me a comment, or you can always send me an email at @yahoo.com. Thank you all so much for making this car community possible. It would be nothing without you guys. Until next time, toodaloo! Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far, like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been warm